All right, and we're back. Today I'm just going to go over what I'm using on my Asus TUF Gaming computer. It is a FT5. I'm rocking a Intel i5. I don't remember the clock speed, so don't ask me. I would say it's more so like a mid-range, mid-lower range computer. I'm not trying to go for, it's Minecraft. Come on. We don't really need all this extra stuff. Unless I would say if you're on Java and you need RTX and all of that stuff. Long story short, this is what I use for vibrant visuals. First things first, you definitely want to go ahead and just remove any or deactivate any resource packs that you have available. If you're like me, you will most likely have the actions and stuff. So please do go ahead and deactivate that. Up next, we're going to be moving on to the video in settings, and I want you to scroll down all the way until you see allow in-game graphics mode switching. You want to do this at the very beginning only because initially I did not have vibrant visuals as a selective option. It was more so grayed out how you see ray traced here. The second I switch this from off to on, it prompted me to actually have this as a selectable item. For performance issues, my render distance I normally just keep at 24 chunks because I like to see what's off in the distance. What I did find is the lower you bring the distance, you're actually way better off. Of course, you're not going to see as far, but performance-wise, it won't eat up as much of resources on your computer, causing that lovely lag that we all know and love. Then you want to go down to custom, because this is going to allow us to jump into all of these options, which we're going to move on to right now. At the very beginning, you want to go straight to the shadow quality. This, honestly, I just keep anywhere from medium to low. There's really not a huge significant difference from low to medium to high to ultra. And so just keep it on low, keep it on medium. I would say, if anything, this is more so a whatever you feel is best. So salt to taste. Up next, we're moving on to clouds. Once again, this is more so in the same concept of rendering, or rather the render settings that we chose up here. These same rules apply. You want to look at clouds medium distance. You want to look at clouds a long distance away. Or do you want to be able to see them way out in the distance? Again, this is not really going to eat up a lot of memory, but you definitely want to not use as much resources as possible. So if anything, I would say medium to low. Once again, same as shadow quality. Another thing I just want to sidebar comment is, from what I'm telling you to use a medium to low to high on certain things, say the shadow, the render distance, the cloud, and also the bloom. It honestly doesn't need to be these, but if you have a medium to low end computer, try copying these settings. The thought process is, if I have a higher end, I can go ultra high. If I have a low end to middle, then you probably want to stick around low end to middle. Otherwise, the lagging issues are going to be a thing. Okay, up next, we now have of the volumetric fog. This, honestly, I noticed doesn't make any distance other than off to any of the other selections here. From low to medium to high to ultra, once again, is not really a big difference. You'll get some sun rays coming through the leaves and through, like, say, the sunlight hitting on the inside of the caves. But it's really not that, from ultra to high or ultra to medium, ultra to low, it's really not that big of a difference. The only difference you'll notice is the haziness that you get with the options, as opposed to turning off the fog, where you get more of a crispier sharpness look to it. So it's your choice, either no fog with sharpness, or fog with the sun rays and a tad bit of haziness. And once again, little sidebar comment, when you have the fog off, you'll have a better distance in seeing underwater, whereas if you have the fog on, whether it's low, medium, or high or ultra, you will have a little bit of haziness, and your render distance while swimming underwater won't be as clear. It'll look like, let's say, real life if you're swimming at the beach or even swimming in like murky water. You probably only see a couple of feet in front of you. Same logic applies here. Moving right along, we have the reflections. Up next, we have the reflections. This honestly is just based off of water. If you're constantly on land, there honestly is no reason for you to put this to the max because you won't be around water. Now, if you're more of an explorer who's constantly in the water, constantly on a boat, or constantly journeying somewhere, you might want to put this a little bit higher. Once again, same rules apply. You low-end computer, you want to stick to the lower mid settings. If you have a mid, or rather a high-tier computer, don't worry. Bang this thing all the way up. Real difference between, from what I noticed, is the best way I can explain reflections is if you have it on the lower reflections, if you're near let's say, a higher peak of a mountain in the backdrop, that mountain will probably cut off halfway. Whereas if you boost up the reflections even more, you'll have a high likely chance of actually seeing the reflection in the water of the peak of the mountain. Up next, we have bloom. I set mine to 50% only because I don't really need that halo that comes around, let's say, torches that we have. Any lanterns normally will have some type of glow or halo around the actual item itself. You'll notice this more so when you have a torch around a dark area. If you have it around the light area, you probably won't notice much, or if you're in a already bright room, the bloom won't make that much of a difference. Again, personal preference, do not like the little halo showing too much. It kind of just bothersome. So I just crank it down to 50%. It's not really a resource hog, so to speak, but this does eat up a little bit of resources. Follow this and you'll have the least lag as possible. Now, on to the last piece of information, the resolution. Anything under native, you're going to get upscaling. This upscaling a lot of times will bring about more of that haziness look that I was talking about from the distance. Let's say if you have your render distance to 12 chunks, 24 chunks, so to speak, you'll still be able to see the buildings. They just won't look as clear quality and HD rather. Obviously, we're working on a Minecraft game. This isn't a 4K feature, so to speak, but with the upscaling, you will get some blurriness in the background. So I just keep it a native. I suggest you do too. With that being said, Vibrant Visuals is actually pretty fun if you're wanting something different without having to jump onto anything in terms of resource packs or downloading. And a lot of us, we don't really trust downloading from certain sources or from random websites. So this will be a perfect reason as to why you would even want to use Vibrant Visuals in the first place. This is what it looks like. It's more crispier, as you can see, as opposed to what you normally see on my channel. Aww. The only thing is, you know what, let me sleep this off because I can show you way better in the morning. All right, and after sleeping it off, I'm going to show you the bit of haziness that you'll get from the daytime. As you can see, my render distance is low, so I can't really see as much, but I'm getting no lag. This is me jumping around. I love what they did with the shadowing here. Again, I don't really need all that extra shadow, so this is sufficient. The croplands look a lot better and not as cartoony, or we'll say flat pixelated. This is what the water looks like. As I told you before, because of my settings, I can see a little further in the water as you normally would. Now if I press start and come back to our video settings, gonna show you, let me try this with my mouse. Gonna show you where we're gonna be at with 16 chunks. So now that we have more to see in the distance, still not laggy. So as you can see, I can see a lot more further because I did raise up the chunks as far as the render distancing goes, and I just love the way the water looks now. This is Bedrock once again, if you're wondering, and if you've first time to my channel. Now, let's go on to the next part we talked about, which was the bloom. All right, now that we dug ourselves a little hole, gonna go ahead and block everything off. This is the bloom that we were talking about. It just looks a tad bit too bright for me. Not something that I would personally like. But if you're okay with it, then you'll get that extra little shine from your torches. And now we're just gonna turn it off so that way we can see the difference. There's not that much of a shine anymore. It just looks like a regular torch, nothing fancy. Just a torch that lights up. And you know what? We can actually run back just a tad bit. Maybe this will actually help us as well. For those of you who still can't see the difference. Now you can kind of see how it has more of a shine. Gonna do this one more time on 0, and then we'll boost it up to 100%. That way we can really see the difference. We'll go bloom 0. Nothing really, right? And then we'll go straight back. Video settings. And we'll fire that puppy to 100%. So as you can see, it has more of a glossy shine to it. You can't really see the halo as I was explaining earlier. But I mean, the overall area is definitely a lot more shinier. Let me actually see. If I just run back just a tad bit into this dark area. And there you go. There's the shine I was talking about. So I guess the further you are, the more you can actually see that it does have some type of like glow on the torch itself. And then lastly, right back into the videos, and we'll turn it off. Just so we can get a good look at what it is I was talking about. And there you go. The shine is off. Well, let me walk up to it real quick. Good. And then we'll walk back. No glow. Just looks like your average torch. I'll be looking into that little golem that just came out yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and make that video as well. I'll see you in a few. Well, that's all for now. If you like the video, then go ahead and drop a comment. If you really like the video, you can go ahead and subscribe. But if you don't like the video, then why are you here?